Welcome to the ins and outs and configuration settings for the common email address. In today's video, we're going to show you some of the configuration settings you need to make sure you have set up for your common email address, and then we'll go through a couple email scenarios to show you how it works. So first, just like any normal email address you set up, you're going to do that through the control panel, but the one thing you want to make sure you're doing is under the email settings, under the server settings, you want to make sure that you've unchecked the box for use cached exchange mode. What that does is that downloads all the emails to your computer and then syncs them with the server every 5 or 6 minutes. The reason you want to turn that off is because more than one person is going to be synchronizing their email at a time. And if you grab an email and reply to it, you want that to be reflected immediately on the server so that if someone else that's working with the same email address sees that email, they recognize immediately that it is has been handled right away. The second thing you want to make sure you look for is that you don't accidentally mark a message read just by clicking on it. One of the settings that Outlook has is if you've been resting on a message for more than 3 or 4 seconds, then the message is automatically marked as read, and you don't want to do that. So what you want to do is you want to click File and then Options, and then under Options there's Mail, and then under Mail is Reading Pane. And in the reading pane you want to make sure that all of these boxes are unchecked, and that way the only way a message gets marked read is if you right click on it and mark it as read, or you've actually opened it or replied to it. That will keep the messages from accidentally being marked read and then someone thinks that you've taken care of it. The other thing, while we're already in the mail settings, is you want to make sure that your signatures are set up properly. So in this case I've got a Steve Briggs signature, and for that signature I just got my name in here, and I make sure that my signature goes out with new messages and replies to forward and replies/forwards. This is part of what you're going to need later on to set up rules for handling emails. The third thing you're going to want to do is make sure that underneath the inbox for your BWI ops, DTW ops, or Miami ops, or whatever ops email address you're setting up, you have a folder designated for each person that works in your group. And the reason you want these is so that if you are working on a particular shipment or a quote or just a conversation with a customer, you're going to set up a rule that automatically puts pieces of that conversation in your folder. So you can see here we've got one for Adam, one for Paul, and one for Steve. The reason you want these folders and the reason you want your signatures is because you're going to create a rule for each individual in your group. So I'll check on the Steve Briggs rule, and you can see that any email that comes into the tech support email address that has the words Stephen Briggs in the body, which is going to come from my signature if I reply to an email, then we're going to move it automatically into the Steve folder. So what happens is that an email comes in and it doesn't have anyone's signature on it, it's a request from a customer or a request from the field, it will go into the inbox. But if it's an email that you have replied or forwarded or has been part of your conversation, if that person replies to you, then it ends up back in your particular folder. So I'm going to jump onto the other computer, I'm going to shoot an email to the tech support group, and when you see this email flowing in, you can see it's just a blank email. It says test email from tech support. It's from my Gmail account, and you can see that by clicking on it and moving to another email, I'm not marking this particular email read. So let's say the email comes in from the customer, it's a quote, and you've replied to that customer or you've asked them for more information. So you click reply, you type a message, it goes out to that particular customer. And now what you do is, since you've handled that, you drag it into your folder. In this case, I'll drag it into the Steve folder. So back at the other email address, I'm going to go ahead and reply back with some more information for that particular email. And I'm just going to say, got it. And I'm going to hit send. And now you'll see when this email comes in, it doesn't end up in the inbox. You'll see that Steve has a new email. So that new email is somewhere in my unread, but what I'll do here is I'm going to do an unread email. I'm going to make unread emails a favorite. Actually, it's right there. My bad. It's right there. So you can see here that all of the unread emails for the tech support group are in this unread folder, and you can see that the email that was originally sent to tech support that I replied to and then I got a reply back is now in the Steve folder. So I can click on that and say got it, and now this conversation, no matter how long it goes on, only belongs to Steve. So Paul and Adam do not have to worry about that conversation unless for some reason I'm out and I say, hey, can you handle my folder? And the last thing we recommend that you do is not have hundreds of folders on the left-hand side sorted by customer and things like that. One of the great functions of Office 2010 and 2013 is the search functionality. As a matter of fact, with Windows 7, you can actually search from the Start button and just type whatever you're searching for right here, and it will actually search for you whatever you're looking for on your computer and in your emails. So we, as a group, create a folder, or when we're finished with emails, when we're finished with a conversation thread, then we just put everything in our deleted items and we just never empty our trash. If you're not comfortable with the deleted items, you'd rather that be your deleted items folder, then what you can do is under each person you could have another folder called processed, or just in the main inbox you can have one called processed. And that's where you put all the emails that are no longer active in your system, and you can get rid of them. Again, as long as they're within Outlook here, all your emails are searchable. So when you're ready to have us set up a common email address for you, then just reach out to the tech support group, and we'll create the email address. Just be prepared for us to jump on every computer that's involved right away so we can get that configured, because once we convert your distribution group to an email address, only people that are reading that email will get it. Keep in mind as well, your computer has to have at least Windows 7 or 8 on it, and has to have Office 2010 or 2013 on it for this to work. And that's it.